Strange memories on this nervous night in Las Vegas. 5 years later, 6. It seems like a lifetime, or at least a main era, the kind of peak that never comes again. San Francisco in the middle 60s was a very special time and place to be a part of. Maybe it meant something. Maybe not, in the long run. But no explanation, no mix of words or music or memories can touch that sense of knowing you were there and alive in that corner of time in the world, whatever it meant. History is hard to know because of all the hired bullshit. But even without being sure of history, it seems entirely reasonable to think that every now and then, the energy of a whole generation comes to head in a long line flash for reasons that nobody really understands at the time and which never explain, in retrospect, what actually happened. My central memory of that time seems to hang on 1 or 5 or maybe 40 nights in the very early mornings when I left the Fillmore half crazy and instead of going home, aimed the big 650 Lightning across the Bay Bridge at 100 miles an hour, wearing LL Bean shorts and a Butte sheepherder's jacket, booming through the Treasure Island Tunnel at the lights of Oakland and Berkeley and Richmond, not quite sure which turnoff to take when I got to the other end, always stalling at the toll gate, too twisted to find neutral while I fumbled for change, but being absolutely certain that no matter which way I went, I would come to a place where people were just as high and wild as I was. No doubt about that. There was madness in any direction, at any hour, if not across the bay, then up the Golden Gate or down the 101 to Los Altos or La Honda. You could strike sparks anywhere. There was a fantastic, universal sense that whatever we was doing was right, that we were winning. And that, I think, was the handle, that sense of inevitable victory over the forces of old and evil. Not in any mean or military sense. We didn't need that. Our energy would simply prevail. There was no point in fighting, on our side or theirs. We had all the momentum. We were riding the crest of a high and beautiful wave. So now, less than 5 years later, you can go up on a steep hill in Las Vegas and look west, and with the right kind of eyes, you can almost see the high water mark, the place where the wave finally broke and rolled back. Good morning, Bitcoin. Today is Tuesday, August 14th, 2018. My name is Thomas Hunt, and here's what's happening today in Bitcoin. The price of Bitcoin is down 3.7% in the last 24 hours, with a last of 6,025, a high of 6,330, and a low of 5,904. That's $1 for 16,599 Satoshis, just on the other side of the 15,000 Satoshi barrier. Let's spin the wheel and look at all those wonderful altcoins that we used to have in our portfolio. Get a quick refresh of World Coin Index. Let's check out the top altcoins by volume. Ethereum down 9%, Bitcoin Cash down 9%, EOS down 6%, Ethereum Classic down 11%, Ripple down 7%, Litecoin down 9%, Dash down 9%, Qtum down 10%, and Tron down 10%, rounding out the top 10 altcoins. Ouch. Capitulation, the action of surrendering or ceasing to resist an opponent or demand. The victor sees it as a sign of capitulation. Historical, an agreement or set of conditions. But this is certainly it. Lots of people have lost all their money in the altcoins, and other people are cutting their losses and heading for the woods. We're also joined by Max Hillebrand. How's it going, Max?
Hi, Thomas. Thanks for having me on the show. I'm really looking forward to this. And you know that is the case with altcoins. Yes, you can make spectacular gains overnight, pretty much. But just as fast as you can make it, even faster can you lose it. And if you look at this, Bitcoin is still quite stable, right? Only quote unquote a 4% decline over the last 24 hours compared to all the altcoins, right? So no question, Bitcoin is a rather stable asset, especially compared to all the other altcoins. And you have to take this into your risk appetite, right?
I hate to say this, but this place is getting to me. I think I'm getting the fear.
He's getting the fear, man. He's getting the fear. And that's why I read the wave speech from Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas right there, because I think everybody has the fear. There's just so much blood in the water. The altcoins have lost so much money. The Bitcoin has lost money. I agree with Max. It's only gone down 3 or 4%, but the basic trend is bad again. We're bearish again. Everyone give us a thumbs up and a share, because we're going to open up the phone lines right here. For the first time, once again, in internet history, you're able to call in live and to tell us about your Bitcoin and altcoin losses. That's right. Sing us your sad story. Tell us how you used to have this and now you have less. But tell us at the end how you're going to be positive and we're going to move on together. And somehow, I don't know if we're going to get that money back, but we're going to get more Bitcoin when it goes down, is what they always say. Oh, if Bitcoin goes down to this, I'm going to buy so much of it. If Bitcoin goes down to that, I'm going to buy so much of it. Let's take a quick look at the most popular distributed applications. It's still IDEX, Fork Delta, the exchanges, FOMO 3D, the gambling, DAI stability system, which is called an other. That sounds fun. And Zethar, the gambling website. Augur, nowhere to be seen in the top 10. The popular Bancor project, less than 500 users yesterday. Nice work, distributed applications. We always check the blockchain activity matrix, but it's always the same. Dan Larimer builds projects that people use, EOS, BitShares, and Steam. Ethereum is a popular project and overloaded. It's always overloaded. It's 100% capacity. And update, Bitcoin is overloaded right now. The mempool is full with 13,850 unconfirmed transactions. However, unlike Ethereum, Bitcoin will get a block and go back down to about 35 to 40% usage. As always, you can support the World Crypto Network by donating now to the Bitcoin address on your screen. It still works. Hello, caller. You're live on the World Crypto Network. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, Thomas. How you doing? It's Ari. I'm calling again from Miami Beach.
Hey, Ari. How's it going in Miami Beach today?
How are you? I just wanted to say that I love you, and I think I actually love you.
Well, we're gonna lose a lot of money today, Ari. Even if you love me, we've all lost it all. So, oh well, right?
Well, are you right? But isn't
there before we know what this feels like? That knife feels so good digging into our heart, man. We just got to dig in and buy more. It's all gonna be okay.
All right, positivity from Ari this morning. Max, what do you think? Say hello to Ari. Max is here. Say hi, Max.
Hey, Ari, what's up? Nice. Thank you for calling.
Too, man. Really appreciate your input and your opinions. Very educated. And I've been in Bitcoin now for like 4 years, and I just really, really love listening to people that know what they're talking about. And keep up the good work. And gosh, I love you, man.
Well, thank you very much for calling. That is something that we really appreciate, is the people actually calling in and telling their stories and giving us the feedback. And I do agree with you that the price really doesn't matter too much. The important thing is that we still do love each other and love yourself and love the Bitcoin that you have. Right? Don't lose hope. Don't lose prospect on the future. This is going to be over. We're going to make it, and we all love each other here.
It's all about love and spreading the love around and thinking long term over the next 3 to 5 years and even beyond. Where are we going to be then? Buy on red and sell on green, and just keep doing that. And that's all I wanted to convey to people.
All right, thanks so much, Ari, for the call, and thanks for being a fan of the show.
Huge fan. Thanks a lot.
Thanks so much. Give us a call anytime. And you can call us now on Skype or at the phone number 518-600-1949. I do think I have a new graphic for that somewhere, but we're watching the live price of Bitcoin. It is $6,010. Like many have said, we may be turning downwards. We look at that jagged downward here from 8,200. Looks like bad news all the way down. Bitcoin price seems to be headed downward.
Well, yeah, but look at this. It's the exact same price that we had just a couple of days ago, a couple of weeks ago, early July, right? So we didn't really lose that much. We just got put back for like, what, a couple of weeks. And even if you look at this from the high of 19,666, yeah, it looks like a massive drop. But then, this just put us back, what, let's see, like 9 months. If you look long term, we are still so incredibly. It's immense in how much up we are compared to the early days of 2017. So really, yeah, it sucks in the short term, but we are not in a short-term investment, right? Bitcoin is the longest investment that you can have, right? It's sound money. It's something that helps us for the future, helps us for prosperity in the future.
The problem is that we look like one of these darn bubble charts, right? Here's some bubble chart. I don't even know. Yeah, this is their example chart. And then let's get the Bitcoin chart on the screen. Where's my Bitcoin chart? Okay. Bitcoin chart, bubble chart, Bitcoin chart. Bitcoin chart, bubble chart. Sorry, that's backwards. But you can see what I'm saying. We're in one of these darn pre-recorded nonsensical stock market things. So the problem is, Max, that right now at 6,000, it's still fine to be cool and people still have profit. But we could see 2,000, right? We could see 1,000. Like the thing is here, we're crazy early on this thing. This is our .com. This is our pets.com. And of course, a bunch of us here are crazy long on pets.com. And yes, we are prepared for it to go down and then to come back up. But that could take years. So if you're not prepared for it to go down and up for years and to start eating top ramen again, which I hear is very nice. All of the Bitcoin carnivores, they're all eating ramen now. They're just eating noodles out of packages. All of the altcoin holders, like we've all had losses and everything, but I really wonder what happened to my friends who bought all that Ethereum. They bought all that Ethereum and it went up to like 1,000, and I was like, I know you never listen to me, but you should sell. And of course, I told them to sell at 10 and 20 and 50 and 100 or whatever. But it went all the way up to 1,000 and even 1,300 for that Ethereum. Hello, caller. You're live on the World Crypto Network. What's your name and where are you calling from? Let's see. It's unmuted because I heard it ring. Caller, is your phone working?
Always that technology. Tricky.
Oh, dude, Google Voice must crash my server or something. I don't know. Let me see.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah, I see.
Well,
it looks like.
It would be easy to have callers on the first try, but where would be the excitement in that, right? We want to build the attention, the anticipation to the caller. So if you call in and you don't get taken for the first try, that's good. That just makes you even more that special.
Makes it challenging. Let's see. All right, so I'm rejoining. I'm back again. And give us another try right now on the phone number, 518-600-1949. It works sometimes. Sometimes works.
You can call us all the time. We will answer your call sometimes.
I also think it's a great time for people to give us a thumbs up and a share. Looks like it's a very crowded chat room this morning. There are 125 viewers already. We haven't even asked you to give us a thumbs up and a share yet, so we can tell that you're very excited. And here we go. All right, this time it worked. Hello, caller. You're live on the World Crypto Network. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, Thomas. It's Mustafa. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, Mustafa, what's up? Nice to hear you again.
Yeah.
Hey, Max. How's it going?
Well, fantastic. What are you calling today?
Yeah, where are you at today?
I'm in Indianapolis, I guess. Yeah, I'm in Indianapolis.
Okay. the same place. Okay, so you can't call when we've already called. Yeah, you're moving along. We have you on the map everywhere.
I'm everywhere. There's like too many clones of me. You might as well call the next one Mustafa Cash.
Yeah, we should start tagging them different colors so we can track your path. But this Google Maps is surprisingly hard to use. They do a pretty rough job of it.
But yeah, so Bitcoin price is falling. The Bitcoin price is falling. The Bitcoin price is falling. People are freaking out. But I'm calling in to let them know not to freak out. Not to freak out. Just buy some more. You know, you guys just said this is the longest investment you can have. You got to be a long. What's the word? You got to be in this for the long haul. And the more that the price goes down, the better it is for us in the short term, right? If the price keeps going down in the short term, that means your dollar cost average is a higher average. Or if you got some money saved or whatever, maybe you want to raise that dollar cost average and buy a little bit more, you know, because eventually the price will go up. That's what the 10-year Bitcoin history has shown, that the price eventually goes up and it destroys those tops, you know, just like the people that bought at 1200 during Mount Gox or whatever. They were very happy last year, at the end of last year. And right now people are wishing that they could have bought for 1,000 or 1,500 or 2,000 or whatever. So if the price is dropping, that's great. Just keep buying.
Well, you might be able to buy for 2,000 again. Nobody knows. But I definitely agree with you, Mustafa. Dollar cost averaging is the way to go. If you think about, especially a nice, reasonable size dollar buy-in, something like $10 a week or $100 a week, something that's not going to completely wreck your bank account. I think a lot of people made money in Bitcoin and then suddenly they had too much money in Bitcoin. And for a while we were high rolling gamblers, and now we are low rolling gamblers. We are gamblers on the outs. So if you feel that way, it's because you invested too much, or maybe you accidentally made too much and then you invested way too much. And this does happen. This was a really fast, irrational thing that happened. And as we look at it now, it's rolling, it's rolling, it's rolling. And then the problem is it going to go down deeper? Is it going to break this level? And we're just going to have to see what happens.
Right, and maybe to pick up on the dollar cost averaging again, it is useful, it is good for some people, not for everyone. For example, if you have a high inheritance, just a huge sum of money that you want to invest, dollar cost averaging might not be for you. You might just be better to buy a lump, you know, to buy just many Bitcoins on day X. But if you do have a regular income, if you do have you know, your fiat income from your employer, or if you are an entrepreneur that sells his goods and services and thus has regular income, then dollar cost averaging is fantastic. And especially a time as today is fantastic, because you are still fundamentally bullish on Bitcoin, right? We know that this is the technology that is going to change the world. The question is just at what price are we going to get some more of it? And if you have this mindset, then a drop in price like this is fantastic.
Right. Yeah. And honestly, I don't really think that Bitcoin is going to drop much further. I mean, the bottom so far has been like 5,500 or something, and we're at 6,000. And I kind of feel like we're just going to stay in that area for a while. I mean, who knows? I mean, you know, nobody knows really, but that's just the feeling that I have. You know, Andy Hoffman is always talking about that $100 billion threshold or whatever, where nobody's really letting it drop below 100 billion. And it's kind of where it's at right now. So I don't know. I kind of feel like this is going to be the same bear market like it was a few years ago, where it was just kind of like $400 or $500 for a really long time. And now it's just 5,000-6,000 instead of 400 or 500, you know?
It does seem like that, but there's real wreckage going on in the altcoins. Ethereum, $250. Bitcoin Cash, 485. That's under 500. EOS down to 432. Ethereum Classic at $10. These things, they used to be more. Bitcoin Cash used to be $800. EOS was at least 8, maybe 20. Ethereum Classic seemed like it was in the $20-$25 range. Litecoin down to $50. This is just a Ripple at 25 cents. Ripple used to be $2. Dash still $134. Wow, I swear Dash was like $1,000 one time. There was one point where I looked at Dash and I was like,
yeah.
$1,000.
Yeah, I remember. I sold the Dash. I sold the Dash token for 1,200 back in December.
That is fantastic, man. That's the well, that's the thing. We have to appreciate these gains, and I think part of this is a lot of us fall in love with this technology and we believe in it and all this stuff. But we'd be a little bit better off if we were better traders, at least part trader, part technology. We just need to be more flexible. Because a lot of people made a lot of money on these crazy things.
I've tried to be a better trader, and it just seems like whatever formula I use, the outcome is wrecked in big bold letters.
It does seem like the more I mess with these markets, the more these markets mess with me. So.
Oh, yeah.
Because yeah, you think you're smart or you think you're whatever, even when you're not smart and you're like, okay, I know I'm imitating the people in the past and the people in the past use these strategies to make money, so I'm going to imitate them. Then you go in and you take a big header. I definitely fell down in these altcoins recently, but it's I don't know, it's like a casino. It's just a much higher stakes casino than I should have been in. So.
Right. And the problem with the prices is that, well, what fundamentally are prices? They are a tool where we can allocate resources accordingly. So that thing that is expensive, we will have to, allocate more prudently on who can get it. And because we had for over 100 years government fiat money, we have no idea what the true prices of anything is. And now that we do have private currencies and free currencies with a sound monetary policy, such as Bitcoin, we now can start to glimpse on what the true price of all the stuff actually is. And this is what makes Bitcoin so volatile. It's not Bitcoin itself. It's that we, for over 100 years, have misallocated so many resources that now have to be allocated to the most productive use.
And we're getting some comments in the chat. Okay, so
I'm gonna let you guys go because it seems like a whole bunch of people are trying to jump on. But I will say this in regards for the altcoins is that during a bull run is the only time that I would recommend someone to get in messing with the alts like it was last year. That's the only time where it was easy or I felt like I was making money like nonstop. But other than that, if it's not like a major bull run, I wouldn't really mess with any altcoin. And that's all. I'll leave you with that.
All right. Thanks so much, Mustafa, for your call. Definitely agree with you there that if you have too much in the alt, if you've lost a bunch of money, there's one way to stop it from happening and to just give up and sell into some dollars or some Bitcoin, at least 30% or something. Get some out. Hello, caller. You're live on the World Crypto Network. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, this is just by Bitcoin out of the first coast of Florida. We're by Jacksonville.
Nice. What's on your mind today about Bitcoin and of course, the altcoins that we've seen?
Oh, man, I am just waiting for my broker to get back into town. I would love to accumulate some more. Bitcoin has always been very, very kind to me, and I would have to refute with you guys on your last call with Mustafa about, trading and trying to take and stab profits and jump in and out of altcoins. I think you really have to make the decision to buy large, dollar cost average, wait it out, or you really have to sit down and be a trader. I mean, I tried the half in, half out thing, and just incredibly frustrating, to be honest with you. And then the tax liability, Jesus Christ.
It is a big mess, but what are the alternatives? Do you just hold on to your Bitcoin or do you work a job? What do you do?
I mean, yeah, like what happened to people making real money? I mean, shit, I've been working since I've been 5 years old and saving money. I turned $140 into a very, very large number in my teenage years and early 20s. I mean, I've worked all types of jobs, from construction to management to whatever. I've always loved accumulating and saving money, and I think Bitcoin is one of the ultimate forms of that. And moving into the future, hopefully one of the most sound and secure ways of that.
I absolutely agree with what you said. And maybe to elaborate a bit on this is, we have to realize that Bitcoin is money. And money, yes, you can use it for financial speculation, but that is a sliver of what money can actually do and what it is good for. So if the price is high, if the purchasing power of money is high, well, use it for what money was supposed to be, right? A medium of exchange in economic transactions. So next time when the price is high, buy a Lambo, buy a house, buy something with it, use it. Don't turn it back to fiat.
I'm out of all material possessions. I mean, I've done it. I guess I'm just one of the technology guys now. I'm actually about to go get another job just because I don't know. I have problems with really bad problems with anxiety, and I'm also like 10 days sober after about 12 years of extreme alcohol abuse. So staying sober during this week was a really nice strong hand there. And yeah, I just want to get out of the house, make some more money. I don't know. Need to explore the world, do some traveling, go find myself again, and just let Bitcoin keep being Bitcoin.
I think that's a great attitude, and congratulations on your sobriety. Keep it up. And I definitely agree with the general idea that you should travel and enjoy your life. And we can't let this thing drag us down. Certainly, we lost some money. A lot of other people lost some money, but it'll probably turn out in the end. I'm still holding a little bit of Bitcoin, and I'm still certainly keeping my eye on it. If it goes lower, I'm going to be there buying it. So there it is.
Amen, Thomas. Thank you guys every day for your show. I love tuning in around this time. Normally some downtime of my day, and I hope to see you guys again tomorrow. Keep it up, everybody, and remember, this is all cyclical. Strong hand, baby. Pound that like button.
All right. Thank you so much. And give us a call anytime. Just buy Bitcoin. And
yes,
you can
absolutely, just buy Bitcoin. Thank you very much for calling. And you're right, keep on accumulating if you can. And if not, it's not that important. It's just money. Yeah, money is important, but it's not everything. So go out there and live your life and do something cool with it.
And remember, there's a lot of things that you can do that don't cost very much money. Last night, I don't know where my Twitter feed links are here, but last night I took a look at the price of Bitcoin, and I knew what was happening. Yes, it was not good, and the altcoins, etc., not good. And certainly, I'd been speculating in that like everybody else. But instead of panicking or getting upset, I just went down to the pinball arcade and I played some pinball. And for about $20, you can entertain yourself for a few hours. Something like that's a good idea. Going to a movie, it's a good idea. Going for a walk, if you're looking for something that doesn't even cost $1. Even take a water bottle with you. You don't have to buy coffee or anything. You can still do these things. You can enjoy your life. You can get a book from the library. There's lots of options of entertaining things you can do that'll distract you from all that's going on in the world of Bitcoin.
Exactly.
Delete Blockfolio. Like, it's okay. Like, you can do it.
Yes, absolutely. I did, and I sometimes still do check the price every day, but I don't think that it's that useful. And I agree with Thomas, just do something else. Go for a walk. What I like to do when I'm walking, for example, just in the forest or with my dog, put in a podcast, listen to an audiobook. Use that time somewhat productively to educate you on a topic that you enjoy. Because if you find a topic that interests you, then education in this specific subject is not that much work. It's actually really interesting. So for me right now, I'm rereading The Creature of Jekyll Island. It's a fantastic book, and it's really enjoyous to read. So find something that interests you and do that.
Yeah, I read that book, The Creature from Jekyll Island. Yes, it's a little conspiratorial from a history. I'm not sure what you're going to gain from rereading it, Max. Come on. I remember when I was young enough to reread things. Oh, yes, but now I have to read new books, things that I haven't read. So
Oh yeah, absolutely. But that was only a slight teaser on what might come next on the WCN. And you have to be prepared for that. And absolutely, it is a book that goes into the conspiracy theories of the creation of the Fed. But guess what? I don't think it's that much of a conspiracy. It's most of that stuff's actual fact. The way that the Fed was created is horrific. So that's definitely something that I'm interested in, and maybe very soon we have something nice here on this channel.
Oh, we always pass the best laws on Christmas Eve. That's what they say in the United States. They say Christmas Eve, that's a great time to change the banking system. I'm gonna cough here.
Oh yeah, it's amazing to change the banking system when nobody is watching, and doing it on a little island in the middle of nowhere with a couple high-level bankers that disguise their travel from New York and all over the place down to Georgia. So yeah, absolutely, it's a nice way to fundamentally change the banking system in a way that it steals away from many people and do it without letting them know. So that's of course amazing.
But let's get another phone call on here. Everyone's been really good so far on the phone calls. Just so positive and not totally depressed. The opposite of what I was expecting.
Oh yeah, because it is just price, right? Yeah, of course that's important, but look at that fundamentally. Bitcoin is so strong. The Bitcoin you bought 8 months ago at the all-time high is the same Bitcoin as today. On the contrary, it probably got even better. So if you bought back then, if you bought the top, doesn't really matter. You still have the same amount of Bitcoin, and you still have access to this amazing protocol, and it's the first step of many, and just keep educating yourself.
And there is one part of the show we haven't done yet, and that's everyone's favorite news segment, Yesterday's Comments. Yesterday's Comments. So let's check out yesterday's comments here on the Bitcoin Talk Show. We're loading up a live look to get you those live comments. Let's see what you said about yesterday's Bitcoin Talk Show. Well, first, we got to get the report card up there. We had 188 likes. That's very good for this show. That spreads it to more people. We had 1,654 viewers. Wow, 654. Very cool numbers. And let's check it out. We had 9 comments. What did you say? Crypto Noob says, perfect summary of the full story behind Bitmain at 2302. Look at how neat it is. He's able to timestamp parts of the video. That's right. You could timestamp parts of the video. You could even timestamp this part right here where I'm talking about how to timestamp parts of the video. That's right. So he says there's a summary of Bitmain in there. Jose Artega thanks us and says, great Bitmain coverage, Thomas. Great episode. John McNee says, great episode as always. Broadhurst Gardens asks, what's the BitConnect guy doing in Africa? I don't know. Is that like a riddle? D-Man talks about Bobby Butcher showing up at halftime and getting Bitcoin's family back together. He says it's an exciting time with the housing stock market crash imminent, and that housing in Vancouver is up from $200K to $2 million. He says a bad loan secured against non-existent Chinese companies, entire cities being left empty. The crash is imminent. Change is inevitable. Is China's trying to crash the stock market? I don't know. He says a lot of stuff. Alan says, good show again, Thomas. How about letting callers advertise their Twitter handle if they want? I think people are pretty good at advertising things. If they want to mention their Twitter handle, I think they will. But I think a lot of our callers are more like normal people that don't give a crap about Twitter and don't want to promote their handle because they don't care. Robert Roper says, thanks for the great show, Thomas. Your commitment to the community is greatly appreciated. Thank you, Robert.
It very much is.
Hey, keeping it up. Zurich Tang says, good show as always. Matthew Johnson, very good as usual, Thomas, quite informative and savvy to help encourage others to do the little things, to show love. And I think he's talking about there, Spreading Bitcoin Awareness in Las Vegas, Volume 2, which came out yesterday. Pretty impressive. Check out that thumbnail. Now, a little behind the scenes story. That's actually 50% of the way through the video. Google chose that thumbnail, and I had no choice but to go with it. I was like, all right, Google, if that's halfway through the video, like you say, 122, there it is right in there. Yeah, boom, halfway through the video. Good job, Google. But we gave out flyers in Las Vegas. We got 113 likes, leading to 1,700 views. And let's check out the comments on this video. Let's see what you guys thought about the second time that we handed out flyers in Bitcoin in Las Vegas. B. L. Dewyan says, I am so glad that you're committed to Bitcoin. History and other disciplines are invaluable when it comes to make sense of our existence and our raison d'etre. Today I learned something quite new and very important. The powerful. He's going to go on. Okay, so he goes on for a while about Roman law and power and says, my work is not dictated by those who direct the system. You work on what you want to work on. And anyone in this video can see it, or they can listen to the 2-hour show. And he appreciates that I spend my work and time sharing, which is part of the communal. And I definitely agree with that. We're definitely part of something bigger than all of us here. We're part of the commons, and that part of what we do with the World Crypto Network is we're putting down a history.
Oh, absolutely. And yes, we are all part of this communal experience. You could call it the agora, right? The marketplace, not just of goods and services, but of ideas and interactions as well. And, as we said countless times, Bitcoin doesn't have a marketing department. It has you, and you have to go out there and do stuff for it. So absolutely, Thomas, thank you for what you're doing in Vegas. And, anyone listening, do it yourself. It's not that hard.
And I think BL Dewyan's got great advice for us at the end, too. He says, now I'm going for a long bicycle ride along hidden parts of London, making sure that I invest for my time in my health and enjoy the outdoors. I take with me some delicious homemade sandwiches, which are cheaper and far healthier. I'll take some pictures, and maybe someday I'll share them with you and your audience. So thanks so much for the kind comment. Big says, fantastic. Bram says, haha, Thomas, epic hero. Doug agrees with me. He says, best thumbnail ever. PJ says, mad. And Jestet Nur shows in with a shout out to the Vegas Golden Knights. They're golden. They say Bitcoin's still at the beginning because people don't know about it. They don't know what it is. I think maybe that one girl thought it was a club. Like, Bitcoin, where's that at? Where's that at? And it says LOL classic from Todd. MS Biteth Burner Mike, he says, that blonde Bitcoin, where's it at? Oh my gosh, that explained a lot in very few words. And he's excited to come to it says she doesn't have to worry about money. Uh-oh, there's some political opinion from Vention MT Tau. That's a group of men going their own way. That's what they're into. So very cool stuff. He also says he's coming to Vegas the week after Labor Day. I think that's after Burning Man. And yep, there's always a meetup in Las Vegas thanks to bitcoinlasvegas.org. And you can join. Bitcoin core developer has a first comment and spread the Bitcoin love. And Rob thinks it was all a bit untransparent. Well, yes, Rob, we're promoting Bitcoin. We're the only ones doing it. Have you ever seen any other Bitcoiner hand out a flyer? I have. I know some old Bitcoiners that used to hand out flyers all the time. But these new Bitcoiners, they just want to sit around and wait for Ethereum to go up in value. But that didn't work out so good, did it? And I told you the whole time. So don't go back and watch the old archives where I told you that Ethereum would go up and go down like everything else. Ignore that. Ignore the past. It will all come back. You'll all be fine. But we're up to 163 viewers. Thanks to you guys giving us a thumbs up and a share. And now go ahead and give us a call on Skype, World Crypto Network, all one word. Or the phone lines are open, I think, at 518-600-1949.
Oh, very interesting. We should probably get like the birthday of Bitcoin into that phone number, if possible. In the chat, Crypto Daddy asks, hey, Max, what's that car in the background? And, well, oh, we got a call, but it's a Mercedes-Benz.
Very German. Hello, caller. You're live on the World Crypto Network. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hi, it's Jeff, and I'm calling from Bradenton, Florida.
All right, Jeff, what's on your mind about Bitcoin today? Do you experience any losses? How are you doing, Jeff?
No, I'm surprisingly calm. You know, I called yesterday. I'm the superintendent that tries to introduce people to Bitcoin, give them $1 at a time. You know, if they take the time to set up a wallet, it's worth giving them $1 because they usually give them a BTC, an Ether, and a Litecoin. And then when I split and I got the free Bitcoin Cash, I figured I might as well give them $1 of that too. So
incredibly generous there. Incredibly generous, Jeff.
Well, it seems like the more you spread the knowledge, the more returns I seem to get all around.
I think that's the way to be. So how's it going lately?
You're a great inspiration. So seeing you pass out the leaflets and all that. So.
I think we got to do it. It's a ground campaign. The only people that are going to spread the word about Bitcoin is us. The ones we've been waiting for, it's us. So we have to do it.
And most of the people I've given dollars to have done very well, have bought some and did well. One guy I do feel bad for. He waited till it was 15 grand before he threw 5 grand at it when it was probably 2,500 when I told him about it.
You just can't help some people. I know that old story. The guy's stuck on the roof and they send him a plane and a boat and a helicopter and he's still up there just waiting. And he gets up to heaven. God's like, why didn't you take the plane? Why didn't you take the boat? Why didn't you take the helicopter? He's like, I was waiting for you to help me. And it's like, no, you got to take the help. You got to take the help when it's there.
That one. But it's been good to me. You know, I got in, and basically, everybody, I think, knows the date, May 3rd, 2016, right after I watched the Bitcoin Gospel. So I'm really kind of disappointed in Roger Ver after that. He was like such an idol. And now, I don't know if it's even good to talk about, but.
Yeah, right. Roger really did a lot of work for us onboarding new people, including me, right? But we have to evaluate everyone's action by the actions itself and not by the history of actions. Yes, reputation is important. And I do still love Roger that he introduced me not only to Bitcoin, but to Austrian economics. But, with the actions he recently took, that does tarnish his reputation. But again, it doesn't mean that he's a complete bad guy. He just has a different opinion about how Bitcoin should scale and how the governance of Bitcoin should move along. And that's his opinion, and he's entitled to have it.
Yeah, I agree. And I was in his corner for a long time. Like you say, he onboarded me and the people I give the dollars to on the job site. It's like him giving those yen away at that one conference. It just makes you feel good that you're hopefully changing their life. Hopefully they'll take the ball and run with it. But then to see how things turned out for Roger, oh well. But it's still all good out there. I got Bitcoin Cash for free for every Bitcoin I may or may not have.
There you go. You can never say Roger didn't give you something nice on his way out, right?
Yeah, pretty much. So, but hey, you guys keep up the good work. Maybe make some room for other callers. I just wanted to let you know that everything's okay here in sunny Bradenton, Florida.
All right. Thanks so much for the call. Give us a call anytime.
You got it, guys. Take care.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jeff, and enjoy the time in Florida. And because I'm getting destroyed here in the chat, I really have to pick up that Mercedes-Benz behind me and talk about why it is there, because it's actually kind of a cool story. Right now, I'm staying in a new apartment in Stuttgart in Germany because, well, I work here for a month. And I do not own this apartment, obviously, but I live with someone else, and he has been a longtime employee of Mercedes-Benz and Daimler. And his 2 kids, his 2 sons, also are employees now at Daimler. And what they are doing is quite interesting, is they are in the marketing department, because Daimler is a centralized company and they actually do have a marketing department. And so what they are doing is just traveling around the world in the most fancy cars that Mercedes is producing. And they are taking pictures with models and everything. So that is their life, quite nice. And I might have to talk to them on maybe sneaking in a Bitcoin logo somewhere on the Mercedes.
That sounds pretty great, Max. Well, they'll have to get you in there, get you modeling for Mercedes-Benz. And it's interesting to think about Germany and the Mercedes-Benz connection. At my friend's apartment in downtown Berlin or somewhere, you could look out the window and see that big Mercedes-Benz rotating logo on one of the buildings in Berlin. And he said it was a really big deal during World War II and during the Cold War, especially the Cold War. They kept that symbol lit, and that you could see it from East Germany, and it was the symbol of West Germany and of wealth and riches and the greatness of the company and so on and so forth, because it's such a high quality luxury brand and stuff. So interesting to see the German connections between Mercedes.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And you know, the German automobile industry is quite huge and quite sophisticated. But also really interesting just to check it out, you know, how they use money. And you know, like in the whole housing markets, the automobile industry has really long production stages, and they really need to invest a lot of capital in order to produce the final good, which is a car. And so they are just as susceptible to fiat money and fractional reserve financing and central bank financing as the housing markets. So they do have many problems, and they got hit hard in the crisis of 2007, 2008. And of course, they do have a lot of malinvestments. So it's an interesting company not only to look for the beautiful cars that they do produce, but also for more of the Bitcoin, the financial, the economic aspect of it. Quite an interesting company, though.
There's some interesting comments going on in the chat. Michael says, "There's no way I'm walking into the Nevada desert to dance naked, holding hands with Ver and others." I'm not even sure what that's in reference to, but it sounds kind of like a Burning Man reference. I think you'd be more likely to find Brock Pierce at Burning Man than Roger Ver. I imagine Roger would be very uncomfortable at Burning Man. It's the kind of thing where, once again, that libertarianism, at one point you're like, everyone is free and loving and can do whatever, and at the other point you're like, they can't do whatever around me. They can do whatever in their own space. I'm a king of my own space. And Roger seems the kind of person to me where, yeah, some naked dude would walk by and he'd be offended, or some naked chick or something. I don't know. But that's an interesting picture to think of, is Roger Ver at Burning Man.
Right, would be quite funny, and he will probably have those Bitcoin Cash booth babies, you know, those ladies that would be quite perfect as the thumbnail for your handout flyer show. You know, he will probably have them half naked, shilling Bcash and Bitcoin.com.
It's funny, we had the same kind of thing at Burning Man. We did have a scaling problem. We can't have as many people at Burning Man as we'd like to. And I imagine Roger would get right on it by building another Burning Man next door. And then there'd be two Burning Mans, and then they could compete against each other. You have Burning Man, you have Burning Man Cash, and the two of them could compete. And this way there would finally be improvement in that situation. I mean, Roger, his style works for everything. Like if there's not enough, if there's a line at Starbucks, you simply start a new Starbucks next door to that Starbucks. You call it Starbucks Cash, and you just compete with them straight on, head to head. You do the same thing that Starbucks did. So
Right?
You got to wonder, like, yeah.
And that is that is competition, and that is entrepreneurship in general. You check what other people are doing, and then you imitate them. But you do not just copy them, but you improve on the stuff that they are doing. So if a entrepreneur in your region is really good at selling coffee, well, this means that there's a demand for coffee, right? And if you then go out and provide this service, but don't just make a copy of it because that's boring, but actually provide the extra special coffee with a nice coffee machine and super good coffee beans, somewhat that differentiates you from the other service, then you actually provide something of value. But if you just make a copy and leave it at that, that's not really that cool.
I wonder what would happen if Satoshi came back and sold all of his Bitcoin Cash. That would really screw up their projects. And then the irony of that there is that you have Jesus going into the temple with all the money changers and, flipping over the tables and wrecking everything. And then meanwhile, you have Roger Ver, this Bitcoin Jesus, there watching over the whole scene as Satoshi just wrecks everything.
That would be actually quite hilarious. But why not? Would be funny. So if Satoshi would never move his true Bitcoin, but if he would move his Bitcoin Cash, that might actually be quite a hilarious statement.
Obviously, someone should ask Craig Wright. Craig Wright, why can't you move your Bitcoin Cash? What kind of Satoshi are you? Like, move your Bitcoin Cash somewhere safer. It's not safe out there.
Exactly. Yeah. Would be funny if, the Bitcoin Cash team, just as Bitcoin Gold or Bitcoin Diamond, one of those, they took away all the coins from Satoshi, right, and gave it to themselves or someone else. I don't know. Would be funny if, if fake Toshi would do the same thing with Bitcoin Cash, but give the coins from Satoshi's keys to his own keys and be like, yeah, well, but it's my coins anyway, so it's good that I have them back. That's actually something that he probably will do in the near future.
And we've got more comments from the chat. Blake James is giving us the heads up from CNBC. He says, right now, a pit trader just cited that all speculators are leaving Bitcoin as it fails to hold round psychological levels like 12K, 8K, and 6K. They expect accumulation in the range of 3 to 4K. Blake says that means it's time to buy. I don't know about that. I'm not sure if all the speculators are leaving, and I'm not sure we found the bottom yet, but we'll have to see. It's certainly fun that they're talking about it on CNBC now. There used to be a time where we would be the only ones talking about Bitcoin. So it's pretty fun to have some people join us.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's always nice to get commentary out there. It would be nice if that commentary would be of actually high quality and somewhat decent quality and not that kind of bizarre nonsense. But yeah, speculators are not leaving Bitcoin. And if you think that they are, well, then you yourself are a speculator that is in Bitcoin. So get out, because your own statement doesn't make any sense in that context, right? There will always be speculation because we live in an uncertain future, or an uncertain environment with an uncertain future, rather. So no, speculators are not leaving Bitcoin. They were the first here, and they will be the last here.
And then we have those kind of trolly people who don't really contribute anything. Let's see what he says. His first comment, he's never been here before. He walks into an empty room. Actually, it's a full room. 164 people are here. Everyone's enjoying us. And he says, WCN is clueless about libertarianism. Of course, this is another liberal channel infesting YouTube. So in your very first comment, you're opening to the world, your hello world, you've told us that we're infesting YouTube. So you're already describing us as a virus. You're already being negative. How could we ever have a conversation with you? I'm so sad for you. Like, look what's going to happen. Then no one says anything to you because they don't care. Then he says, WCN, typical liberal snowflake, banning everyone with opposite opinion. You're the one self-banning yourself. Like, you're the one who comes into a room where a conversation's going on and you think you know everything and you want to throw down this hammer. So we're looking forward to your third comment, which is probably going to include profanity or something. So good luck with that, and find another libertarian channel. Be libertarian enough to change the channel, right? Like, I'm going to complain about it. I'm the kind of libertarian that complains about things. Like, change channel. Go find something else. But thanks to everybody else who's here. It's fun to have you guys in the chat.
And the WCN is not just one person, it's a bunch of people that come and go all the time. So saying that we are or are not libertarian is nonsensical. Because yes, Thomas might not be like the hardcore crypto anarchist, right? Of course not. Well, but I am. So yeah, the statement might be true for Thomas that he is not libertarian per se, or well, maybe he kind of is, but not not that radical. But then other people are. So absolutely, you cannot make those statements, and do whatever you want. It's free speech, but be productive. Don't just rent seek on everyone else. But join the conversation in a productive and peaceful way.
Well, I think it's like John Lennon said, I don't believe in Beatles. I just believe in me. And he's talking about not falling to isms. And no one is a pure libertarian. You're not a true Scotsman. I am no true Scotsman. And I also remember of this thing that Robin Williams said. Someone was heckling him, and he was like, "Oh, first time heckling?" Oh, that shut him down. Oh, he didn't say anything. I thought, is this your first time? Oh, tell me more. Oh, really? Ooh. So, yeah, we're not hearing much else. And again, you can call us now on Skype or at 518-600-1949. Tell us about us. Tell us about real libertarianism. Why, real libertarians would never wear a blue shirt. All libertarians wear brown shirts. Oh, you don't wear a brown shirt? I wear a blue shirt. It's just nonsense with these labels.
That would actually be really nice if El Codio de la Cota would come back and talk to us in person, at least on the phone lines, and defend his position. That would make me appreciate him much, much more. So yeah, absolutely. And I do agree, putting yourself in boxes is never that sufficient because we live in a complex world, and the details matter quite a lot, and our definitions of words might be different and stuff like that. So yeah, boxes are not that useful. They are useful in some sense to just get a general overview of who or what ideologies you adhere to. But if you go down to the details, no, it's just hindrance.
And we do have a good comment. We have a question from the chat. What do you think Roger will do when Bcash goes to zero? And we have a very interesting situation right now with the Bitmain IPO announced yesterday and how much Bitcoin they sold. Hello, caller. You're live on the World Crypto Network. What's your name and where are you calling from?
RJ, Victorville, California.
All right, RJ, what's on your mind about Bitcoin today?
Hey, I just wanted to go and say I'm just listening to the show and always enjoy it. It's always good content. I'm just a little concerned about the price dropping and stuff, but I'd like to go and get you guys' insights and thoughts. What do you guys think Bitcoin will go and hit by the end of the year?
Well, I'm always bullish. So like 20K, 25K, right? We stick with that. I don't know. It's so hard to say by the end of the year. If I really stretch this chart out, the main thing is just a lot of these people are traders and they trade with these systems. And if we fall through certain lines, the system says they have to sell. And a lot of these traders aren't even people, they're just bots. So it seems like the bots are pointing us downward. So right now, like everyone says, we're still on this 6,000 level. If we fall through this 6,000 level, 4,000, 3,000, 2,000, I have no idea. But it just feels like we're going down. And then especially the crazy altcoins have gone crazy down. They are not helping us anymore. So you just got to make adjustments to your risk accordingly. Just use percentages. Try not to go all the way out. But then again, with the crazy altcoins going down, of course, I never listen to my own advice and I went all the way out. So we all have to do it. And again, dollar cost averaging back in would have been smarter than throwing in another wad and watching it get chewed up and then bringing back more dead soldiers. But no one can predict these markets. No one knows. And we got to take profits next time instead of just taking losses. So.
Yeah, I mean, I just got in like last year. So, I mean, the highest price I ever paid for a Bitcoin was 10,500. So I guess I'm not too far away. The way I kind of approach it is I just keep buying, whenever I can, just keep stacking as much Bitcoin. I go and do the altcoins too. I'm kind of select on it, but I just keep stacking as much as I can, and then just thinking that just like what the stock markets have gone and done in the past. They might be flat, they might go up for a while, then go sink down and ride on a low level for a couple of years. Eventually, it'll go back up. If the companies are good. So that's kind of my approach on it. I just wanted to go and get your thoughts on it. So I appreciate it.
I think that's it. Yeah.
So congratulations on everything and thanks.
Thank you so much. And I think that's a great way to go. Dollar cost averaging. Don't invest more than you can afford to lose. And long term, I still think Bitcoin's great, but right now everybody is freaking out. So.
Yep, I think long term Bitcoin's great too. So I just figure this is about the cheapest I'm going to be able to go and get it. I think in a couple of years, it's not going to be at these kind of levels. So if I'm able to go and buy, I buy. So that's kind of my approach. So thanks.
All right. Thank you so much for the call. Give us a call anytime. And let's see. Hello, caller. You're live on the World Crypto Network. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, Thomas. This is Blake from New York again.
All right, Blake. How's it going in New York today?
It's doing really good. Just watching the markets as usual. Have a lot of chatter in the private chat rooms that I'm in. I'm one of the people who really think that we're going to get a flush below 6K, but I think it's going to be a short-term thing.
All right. So how short term do you think it's going to be?
I think there's got to be some sort of massive capitulation. So I'm thinking that we're gonna break 6K, and then people are gonna panic, and we could even go down as low as 4,400. So I think that's gonna be like within a day. That's all gonna happen.
That sounds like an exciting day. I'll keep my schedule open.
Exactly.
Yeah,
But
we do
please,
see a volume climax on the daily time frame, which is a good indicator. But ETH also did the same thing yesterday, and it was largely ignored. We had a small move to the upside, but nothing substantial.
All right. Other caller, are you also on the air?
Hello.
Can the two callers hear each other? I'm curious.
Yes, I can.
wow, the technology, amazing.
Dude, we are advanced. Caller number 2, what's your name and where are you calling from?
This is Joe from Wyoming.
All right, Joe. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind about Bitcoin today?
Relax, guys. This is what markets do.
Exactly.
Max,
I am almost 60 years old. I have lost more money than I can count in the markets. I still have a smile on my face. I still am cheerful because it's just numbers. Okay? As long as you can eat, as long as you've got a dry, warm place to stay, you're doing very well and better than probably 60% of the world's population. So don't worry about it.
I think you're absolutely right, Joe. It's really hard because I know I've lost, more than I've made and all that. But there's still some profits there. You still have your health. You still have food on the table, hopefully, and rent paid for the rest of the month or something like that. So it's not that bad. You can always get a job. You can always work at Subway or something. There's lots of people that are hiring. So
There's tons of work to be done. There's grass that needs to be cut. There's trash that needs to be picked up. There's all sorts of work out there for people who are willing to do it. And there are people willing to pay you. Don't worry about it. This Bitcoin thing, if you bought Bitcoin at 20,000, you don't take a loss unless you sell. Just hold it. When it hits 100,000, you'll thank me.
Yeah, the worst thing to do would be to capitulate near the bottom like this. I think people who bought up higher would do better to dollar cost average into their position rather than sell their position at a loss.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm waiting for 5. When it hits 5,000, I'm in with both feet.
I think that's a really good psychological number as well. I'm not sure if you guys have seen or heard of the cryptocurrency fear and greed index. It's a market sentiment analysis. And right now, out of 100, we are at 16, which is extreme fear. We were at 11 in April, and that was right before the move from 5,700 to 82. So I'm thinking that the lower and lower this number goes, the better the chance is that we're finding a bottom.
Yes, I agree.
Well, that sounds terrifying. The fear index. It definitely feels like a 16 today. I think you just feel it out there. The altcoins dropped again. Like they're saying in the chat, there's blood in the streets. But I completely agree with Joe. And thanks so much, Joe, for being the words of wisdom there and for coming through for us. Thank you so much for your call.
Thank you. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
All right. Give us a call anytime. And we're just going to keep the lines open. Thanks, Blake, for the analysis, the technical analysis there from New York. Definitely appreciate it. I hope we can make it through this. I'm going to keep an eye on that 5,000. Like everybody else, sure, I might have taken some losses and sold some, but I'm always looking for a good re-entry point, right? I'm not giving up the thing. It's just you see this kind of fear-based market, and you say, well, there's one thing I can do. I can try to get out of the way of that thing. And
Can I get your opinion on one last thing?
Sure, go ahead.
So the president of Zappo recently said in an article that he believes that there will be an altcoin extinction event. Now, I know that you've been in crypto for a long time. I was wondering, have you seen something like that happen in the past? Happen in the past where there were altcoins that were really popular that may have gotten delisted?
Most definitely. I don't have the tweet handy, but there was a tweet yesterday showing a coin market cap screenshot from 2013. And there were many coins there that used to have lots of value, and they used to have a community, and they used to have boosters, and people would go around saying how great, for example, Megacoin. There was a coin called Megacoin, and I'm pretty sure it was just a copy of some other coin, and they had a nice wallet, and that used to matter back then. The wallet had, you know, graphics and stuff. It was, they did a nice refinish of the wallet, but there wasn't anything that different about Megacoin. But one time I got $1,000 donation in Megacoin, and it was amazing, and I was so excited. But also, I wanted to be loyal to my audience, and I wanted to hold the coins that they gave me, because I was still trying to figure this thing out, and I'm always trying to figure this thing out. I never know what the right thing to do is, but so yeah, I held that Megacoin, and it went down to like $300. And then I gave up and I cashed out, and I still got a $300 donation. It was really cool. But yeah, there's been many coins like Megacoin, Earthcoin, Terracoin, Namecoin, Feathercoin, Peercoin, Primecoin. There's just been hundreds of coins before, and that's why when all these alts are going up and I'm sitting on the sidelines not making money, which seems stupid in hindsight, I was, you know, warning people about this, and we talked about Ethereum maybe going up and then going down, and that just could be a natural thing for Ethereum, and now it seems like it's happening, and it's a bummer that all these people are losing all these money. I wish they'd sold at the top, but no one ever knows where the top is, and I don't know if we'll see an extinction event, but it's starting to feel like I'm not sure. Do you think the altcoins are dragging Bitcoin down? Like, especially right now, we've broken through this kind of little barrier. We're going through 6,000, maybe we're going to 5,000, and that there's something about the whole market being down, and then people really looking at these altcoins and saying, does anyone use these distributed applications? Does anybody use basic attention token? Does anybody use Ethereum Classic? They're looking at these things, and I've always said Bitcoin is like 90 to 10 or 90 to 1, 99 to 1 or something. Maybe we're going back to that. But again, as soon as you decide that.
Surprising.
Yeah. What do you think? Go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's okay. I absolutely think that because of how many altcoins are out there, that the market is oversaturated with just crap. And at the same time, I also feel as if anything is harming Bitcoin's reputation, more so than the altcoins themselves, it's Bitcoin Cash. So I would personally like to see a complete failure of Bitcoin Cash, as terrible as that really does sound.
Well, I'm good with that one too, but I don't know. The problem is it's gotten so big. I think it wrecks us too, right? Bitcoin Cash, 24-hour volume, 1.2 or $1.1 billion. That's pretty insane. I don't know how they do.
I feel like a lot of that is wash trading, though.
Yeah.
What I would do say is, though, is there are several different shitcoins that really don't provide that much value and don't have any utility. But regardless, number one, we cannot do anything against that. And number two, let them try. Let them fail miserably. And then we can learn from their failure and learn from their experiences. So I'm all for the competition that we have. I'm all for every single idea that is being tried and that is being, tried if it works or not. Because if it does work, well, we're going to adapt it to Bitcoin. And if it doesn't work, well, okay, that's good. Then we know that it doesn't work and we don't have to do it in Bitcoin.
My only regret is that I don't have any more Bitcoin Cash to sell. It's all gone. But thanks so much, Blake, for your call, and give us a call anytime.
Absolutely, guys. Have a good rest of your day.
All right. And you can call us now live on Skype at World Crypto Network, all one word, or at 518-600-1949. And just like last time, if the callers are chill and cool, we can even do 2 calls at the same time. So Hello, caller. You're live on the World Crypto Network. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Bitcoin for niggers.
Okay. And that was it. They hang up on themselves. Oh, how boring. Oh, in my day, prank calls used to be much more elaborate. I don't know. We'll have to work on that, though. But you can give us a call now at 518-600-1949 or on Skype, World Crypto Network, all one word. We're keeping track of the price of Bitcoin, which is at $6,032. It's around 10:19 a.m. I am getting tired of talking. I could use a cough drop or something, but we got another call. Hello, caller. You're live on the World Crypto Network. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Jeremy, and I'm calling from Montreal, Quebec, Canada.
All right, Jeremy, what's on your mind today with Bitcoin?
I wanted to talk a little bit or pick your brain a little bit about what things have changed in like the last year and a half or so that people no longer realize that the community and the market has matured to. So for example, like one of the worries that we used to have was what's going to happen with China. What if China bans cryptocurrencies? What if they ban exchanges and stuff like that? Even older ones, when Mt. Gox was around and then they went bust, people were like, oh, if the exchange goes bust, then it means that the currency that's behind it should crash and crash and crash because of the mismanagement of that exchange. The exchange is equal to the cryptocurrency itself. And I think a lot of things have evolved and a lot of things have changed over time that people don't really realize that Bitcoin has now gotten beyond, and some of these fears are now in our past. And I was wondering what you thought about that, or if there's other ones that you can think of.
Well, many of the fears are certainly in the past. I agree with you. We have many good exchanges now. We have many exchanges that are on the up and up and that you can do your tax reporting and all that kind of stuff with. So that's very good. We used to have more fly-by-night exchanges. You'd put your money out there and you wouldn't even know if it was there the next day. Things like BTC-E and Cryptsy, for a long time, they seemed bad, and then eventually they went completely bad. So that's definitely changed. But the space has just changed so much with all the ICOs and the success of the altcoins, and now the possible death of the altcoins and death of the ICOs. So all of the new people that came in with all of their enthusiasm and their love for Ethereum are now getting wrecked. So now we have to see what happens with their enthusiasm and their love of Ethereum, and if it goes on to Bitcoin or if it goes to some new version of Ethereum, or if the whole thing just reinflates again, right? Like we're certainly in a down point now, but I'll bet some people are holding their altcoins and some people are thinking it's going to be fine and they're doubling down and tripling down and they're just waiting for it to go lower. So it's just, I think I agree with you. The space has gotten so much bigger with the exchanges, with all the other, coins and other shows and other interest and conventions and all this. It just keeps expanding. But that said, good news doesn't seem to work anymore. We're not so affected by good news. We only get bad news. So let's go to Max. Max, are you back with us?
I am back with you. And the thing is that I agree completely with you, caller, that the market has advanced and adapted and improved in the understanding of what Bitcoin is. But that doesn't mean that all of a sudden we all know what Bitcoin is. We just know what some aspects are. But ever since, the Mt. Gox hacking, where we realized that if you have your Bitcoin in an exchange, it's not your Bitcoin, so many new things have popped up. For example, all the stuff that Lightning Network brings with itself. By the way, we're going to do a show with Ansel Lindner just after this one. So yeah, absolutely. There is always going to be a new technology, a new thing that fundamentally changes how our understanding of what Bitcoin is and what it can be.
I would also add other things that we were a lot of talk about last year. There was a lot of, let's say, propping up single individuals like Jamie Dimon and Warren Buffett, or pick the old market person that's rich, what they would think about Bitcoin and how they would trash it. And I think a lot of people have learned to ignore a lot of those voices and realize that it doesn't really have a true impact necessarily on the price or on the technology. And another thing that I think has matured within the community is a fear that I think is gone is actually the forking fear that brought all these altcoins that are now crashing. When Bitcoin Gold came out and Bitcoin Diamond, people didn't have the same fear that they had when Bitcoin Cash originally came out. They weren't saying, oh, it's going to crash everything. What's going to happen to the hash rate? What's going to happen to the community? What's going to happen if Roger Ver eventually, what if he's pumping the other side? And there was a real fear. Which one's going to be the real Bitcoin? What's going to happen to the community? What's going to be going on? And eventually people took a liking to it. They said, they went from a fear to, oh, I'm going to get an airdrop. I'm going to get some free money. Interesting. I'm not really worried about that. Bitcoin's going to be fine. This other thing, I'll take it for free. I'll sell it, get what I can, get a few percentage points on it. And so that's those two things I think are also some interesting fears or worries that aren't really there anymore. Over time, we hope more and more good news gets baked into the general feel of the community, that they're not worried about certain things. But it's a slow thing to get people to be less worried about various things in the community.
Oh, absolutely. And especially with the forks, that a great point that you bring up. We didn't know how it was going to play out, such a hard fork that changes a critical consensus parameter in Bitcoin. And well, we couldn't really know in advance, or well, probably some did, but in general, the consensus was not that it would just be a copy, but that there might actually be, the claim of ownership over the true origins of Bitcoin. And well, now we realize that a hard fork is just that. It's a copy. It's a copy of Bitcoin where you can change anything you want, but you just don't do the copy from the beginning, but from, let's say, a couple of years in. So absolutely, that is one thing that we learned from this August 1st hard fork of Bitcoin Cash.
I might also add in one more thing is the big outside money. Everybody waiting for the institutional money to come from when they either get in the CBOE stuff or the ETF stuff that they're looking to get. I kind of think of that as the China story of last year. What if China bans things? So now people are more talking about, what if the ETFs aren't put through and can't go through? I think a lot of people, it shook the market, but the people that are still around in the market, it's no longer this major necessary thing that we need the ETF. It needs to go through today. And if it's rejected, not only is there going to be a huge cut in Bitcoin, but eventually things can die out, that we need this legitimacy or else we're nothing. And I think people now have a different viewpoint. First of all, they think that the ETF is on the horizon, but it's not critical to Bitcoin's life or success. It'll come and go without it. The institutional investors, they'll just be missing out on an opportunity now to hold their Bitcoin directly if they don't get that ETF. So at least that's my view on the ETF. Maybe other people are different, because we could see that the market's having some trouble, but institutionally, or my deep down gut feeling is that people aren't taking the lack of an ETF as a major blow to Bitcoin's existence, that it's like a crucial hit.
I definitely agree with you that it's all about fear. And I think that the existential fears are still there. One of the fears was that Bitcoin was not the one, and that one of these altcoins would rise up and replace Bitcoin, that so-and-so was the next Bitcoin. And I think we're seeing right now, at least with the current crop of altcoins, that's not true. Bitcoin is still the one. We're still fine there. The other existential fear is still out there, that maybe we're just too early. Maybe Bitcoin is that invention like the electric car. We had electric cars in the 1920s and the 30s and even the 1990s, and we have hybrid cars. So we're still trying to get back to the electric car. Maybe Bitcoin, beautiful as it is just way too early, and people aren't going to grasp it. I think that fear is out there whenever we go to 6,000 or 5,000, and they're going to say maybe this centralized corporate copy of Bitcoin on a blockchain is way better than that dirty independent Bitcoin. And so I think that's the big fear that I think people have that gets reignited whenever we go through one of these big negative cycles.
Yeah, everybody always asking which one's the real one. I listened to Jimmy Song a while back, and he was talking about how the real Bitcoin at the moment is mostly for store of value. And I think he was comparing it kind of to, let's say you were to buy some art. So let's say I bought a painting or something like that, a Leonardo da Vinci or Picasso or something along those lines. It's because of its scarcity and nobody else can touch it or copy it. And my coin is my coin and my piece of art is my unique piece of art. So the store of value is kind of like that. It should theoretically always retain its value, that painting, so long as, people are interested in, a painting that somebody drew 500 years ago or whatever, and that it's a beautiful one and everybody knows about it and likes it. Theoretically, art is a good store of value. And so too, the uniqueness of Bitcoin, the store of value aspect of it is, at this point in time, the primary thing. But perhaps in the future, yeah.
Sorry about that.
I just heard the ringing, but perhaps in the future it'll be different, and people will be ready for the meat exchange. That people will use it at their Walmart, their Target, their whatever stores that their soup, when they go get some coffee at Starbucks. But absent that, I think we still have a very strong product with the holders, with the hodlers for the store of value aspect. And that's an important thing that people should sometimes think about when they talk about the altcoins. Oh, this one can do this many transactions this quickly, or whatever it may be doing. I think Bitcoin's the one that has the store of value thing above and beyond these altcoins. If I have Bitcoin Gold or whatever, the fact that I'm holding unique Bitcoin Gold, I don't think is as interesting as holding Bitcoin.
I definitely agree with you there, and thanks so much for the call. Give us a call anytime.
Thank you. Great show, guys.
All right, we want to get those call lines open again. You can give us a call now on Skype at World Crypto Network, all one word, or on the phone at 518-600-1949. We had another call in the middle of that call, and things got a little confused. So it looks like Skype is giving us that. So hello, caller, you're live. They're all ringing. Okay. Hello, caller, you're live on the World Crypto Network. What's your name and where are you calling from? Okay. So that's the call that gets through. Our advanced screening process. You can give us a call. I have the phone line still open. I had to mute the Skype because we're getting too many calls at the same time. So give us a call now at 518-600-1949. Is kind of like a race. If you win, just let the other person win after they've called. Don't just keep calling. But we'll try to keep that open. And if no one calls on the phone line after about 5 minutes, we'll open up the Skype line again. But I think it's not going to work to have them both open at the same time if it's going to give me that technical interference that it was giving us there. But we do have more news today, like people were saying. The horror. And people are talking about Bitmain. They're saying they're going to have some big problems. Somewhere around here, it showed me Bitmain's Q2 results were now out. They had significant losses in Q2, and they might have been trying to hide that. But now no one seems to care about the Bitmain IPO anymore. Everyone cares about the price of the Bitcoin. Just a quick recap of the mainstream media. They only care about the price. and they love to put numbers in their headlines. Hello, caller. You're live on the World Crypto Network. What's your name and where are you calling from? All right, very interesting.
Well, we always want to have some music here on the show, right? So that's good.
Yes, it's always good to have music, and we'll figure out how to block that person, and it's going to be great fun learning how to do this on the Google. So here we go. Let's see. Recent calls you've received that haven't been any good. No, it doesn't seem like it works, but we'll figure out a way to do that. But you can give us a call now on 518-600-1949. We'll try to keep the call lines open for about 5 more minutes, and then we're going back to Skype. So it goes. As I was saying before, the mainstream media loves to put titles and numbers in their headlines. 6,000. Bitcoin slips under 6,000 as rout resumes. Here are the horror stories. Bitcoin, Ether sink as a sense of panic grips crypto investors. Bitcoin tumbles below 6,000, threatens the 2018 roll. And Meltem was on TV. That's pretty cool. Way to go, Meltem. I've met her before. She used to work with Barry Silbert in Digital Currency Group, and she was very positive about Bitcoin while being on TV. So thanks so much, Meltem. Good job. Meanwhile,
well, it's always nice to see some people making it to the mainstream media, quote unquote. But honestly, it's not that exciting. It would be much more appreciative if it would be a personal YouTube channel. But we got the new caller.
Okay, third time's a try. Hello, caller. You're live on the World Crypto Network. All right. And they hung up too. They must have the wrong number. We're going to give Skype a try. You can call us now on Skype at World Crypto Network, all one word.
Well, we absolutely always do appreciate your calls because that's what makes this show so fun, so much fun, because we get to talk to you.
Hello, caller. You're live on the
Hello.
Echo. Turn your speaker down, please.
Hello, am I on?
Yep, you're on. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hello. Yeah, my name is Luis. I'm calling from Guatemala.
All right, Luis, what's on your mind about Bitcoin today?
No, I was going to tell you guys that... My name is Luis. I'm calling from Guatemala. Okay, I'm getting...
All right, Luis, what's on your mind about Bitcoin today?
Well, I've been on the space for quite a while. And I'm not a Bitcoin maximalist. Well, I've been on the space for quite a while. I mean, I do own...
It's echoing back. You've got to turn your speaker or your computer down.
I mean, I do own...
Either put headphones in or turn the speaker down.
But I just wanted to say, I think there's room for a few coins.
Either put headphones in or turn the speaker down.
Oh, gosh. But I have headphones on. I just wanted to say, I think there's room for...
All right, we're gonna give that call another time. Thanks so much, Luis, for the call. It's just not working out technically. Everyone needs to make sure that you have headphones or a quiet room, or if you're listening to it on YouTube, that you could turn the YouTube sound down. Sometimes with Skype, you can't do that because you have multiple browser windows or something like that. But I love Rad Vlad. He's got it all figured out in the chat. He says, Luis, you need to turn off your speaker and become a Bitcoin maximalist. He's got it all settled right there in that sentence. Good job, Rad Vlad. You got him there. But
exactly that. That's always educate.
And we're going to give calls another try. We're opening up the Skype lines. You can give us another try. You got to make sure to mute your speaker, though. Mute your speaker, have headphones, have your microphone plugged in. You guys can figure this out beforehand. And also, I'm going to ask you where you're from so you can be prepared for that. but everyone's laughing in the chat. Yeah, and we tried to get him to just kind of ask a question. The other thing is if we're having a complete technical mess, try to like ask your question or make your comment and then kind of get out of the way. Right? You can still, there is a way to get out of this and to not create a train wreck, but it's okay, and it's always worth a shot. Here we go. Caller, you're live on the World Crypto Network. You got to turn your speaker down.
Here we go again.
All right, so we were getting some good calls earlier, and I think people are trying to give us good calls right now, but we're kind of running into that classic call-in show type thing where people aren't ready or people aren't ready at it. But let's just let's talk to Max for a little while. We've only got 20 minutes left in the show. Max, you said you had another show coming up with Ansel. What's going on there? What's going on today on the World Crypto Network?
Well, I've always contemplated the Lightning Network, and it's a fascinating piece of technology, and I've been using it for quite some time now. But the question that I have is the money unit, the Bitcoin that is in the payment channel in the Lightning Network, is this Bitcoin this Lightning Bitcoin fundamentally different from the Bitcoin that is on chain, that is on the base layer? Because there are arguments that it might be a fiduciary media, or at least a money substitute or money certificate, that it is no longer the true Bitcoin, but a second layer to it, right? And this is a really interesting question. And Ansel and I, with a couple others, JW and Saifedean, we talked about this a bit off air, just in the chat. And we decided just to, put out a discussion and further try to educate ourselves first and foremost, because we all agree that this is a unsolved issue and that nobody has thought about that yet. So someone has to do it. So let's do it.
It feels like you guys are in the Swift novel, and somebody's cracking their eggs from the middle, and somebody else is cracking their eggs from the top, and it's time to have a holy war. I don't think it's that different. I don't think it's different to the point where you can disown Bitcoin because it's in a Lightning channel, and I also don't think that it can be duplicated. It's not. It is the same thing. It's not a copy of the thing. There's not two of them. It's not separate. It doesn't hold separate states. It either is or it isn't. To go Schrodinger's cat and to totally open this whole thing up. So I would agree. But the main thing there is to look at that guy Nick Bhatia's articles about the interest rate of the Lightning Network. And that's where everyone gets all wishy-washy because they're like, I don't want to be involved in anything with an interest rate. But like Nick said, when I talked to him a week or so ago, he said, well, you lend it for time, right? And you lend a certain amount, right? And you get back a little bit of fees based upon how much your amount was. You just described an interest rate. And if we could have an interest rate for Bitcoin, people can actually kind of hodl, right? Because you control the keys. You could always claw back from the Lightning Network, but you're also kind of lending because you're letting people use your Lightning, like in that stadium example where we're passing down the hot dog. And I just pass down the hot dog. And I get a little bite of it, but so does everyone else in the chain. So we're all going to share the hot dog, right, Max? We don't need to have civil wars over your hot dog has mustard and mine has relish.
Oh no, absolutely. We're not going to have a civil war, but it would be nice to know if it's a hot dog or a burger, right? Because you're going to eat it differently, right? And we're not saying that, or I'm not saying that it matters too much on the technology level. What I'm really concerned, though, and this is a true concern, is that if Lightning Network turns out to be a fiduciary media, to a money substitute, then there is the possibility of introducing fractional reserve and a pyramid scheme in the money. And this basically leads to an increase in the money supply, which starts the boom and bust cycle and takes away the purchasing power from the savers, the hodlers, and gives it to those who control this pyramid scheme. So I really do think that we have to be careful here, because this is cutting edge stuff. We really don't know if it is or isn't. We really don't know if Lightning is a debt contract or isn't, because it never has been tried before. So really, we need to get out there and discuss this and just further the conversation.
Well, and we're keeping up with the conversation in the chat where Rad Vladdy says he eats his hot dogs and his burgers the same way. He sticks them in his mouth, he chews, and he swallows. That's interesting because I've seen that competitive eater, uh, Kobayashi, I think it is. He eats his hot dogs with water and he dips the buns in water and he practically seems to swallow the hot dog. So there are other ways to eat hot dogs. He would argue his way is better and more efficient. Crypto Daddy says, "Are bananas supposed to be crunchy? Are they supposed to be money?" And it's funny because we did talk about bananas being money yesterday on the show with a quote from Andreas Antonopoulos, who told us about how monkeys will start using bananas and pebbles and so forth for money, and they'll start exchanging it, and they'll even start prostitution and violence in order to get more pebbles, in order to get more bananas. It seems innate in us. It seems part of us to have this currency, this substitution that allows us to trade things without bartering or cutting up the mule into pieces. I agree that
Exactly.
the mule is more valuable altogether, right, Max?
Absolutely, and that's what you said. Yes, money is just nice, but it's not nice just because it is, but it is actually nice because it helps us. It's a tool, it's a technology, a technology which we can use to increase the levels of production, to build more lavish things, to have a conversation on a smartphone or a laptop over the internet. This would not be possible without the money, because who would build the laptop? Who would build out the internet infrastructure, and how would we pay for this? This would be way too complicated if I would have to sell my services as someone who likes to talk about economics to the person that is going to set up my internet line. No, barter exchange is nice if you have a community, but it doesn't work on the large scale. And if you want to have nice stuff, a money will really help you get it.
I don't know. Daniel Mann in the chat is offering to pay you in hot dog. That's right. You could get hot dog right here in exchange for your work. Mr. Sheffield says, anyone still have the Silicon Valley not hot dog app on their phone? And that was a funny episode where Jin Yang made an app that would tell you whether or not something was a hot dog. And it turned out to be way more useful than he thought it would be. John Doe also pushes back and says, Lightning is just updating unbroadcast Bitcoin transactions. It can't be fractional reserve. So I wouldn't worry so much, Max. I think they got it under control with the Lightning Network.
Yeah, I'm saying it is. I do think that it is not a money substitute, but it might be. And honestly, I do not know if it is or isn't. And this is something that, although it might sound trivial at first, just the economic implications are drastic, because they are fundamentally two completely separate things. If the true money, the money base, is on layer 1 on the Bitcoin blockchain, and the Lightning Network would be layer 2, would be something completely different, then we cannot compare them one-to-one. Then we always have to differentiate between a Bitcoin on-chain and off-chain, right? And not just on a technological level that you might have to use a different wallet, but actually on a fundamental economic way. And this will implicate drastically, especially, of course, as I said, the introduction of fractional reserve, but also it would hinder the tradability and the fungibility of Bitcoin. Because if I only have Bitcoin on-chain and you only have Bitcoin Lightning, then we wouldn't get together in the exchange, right? Because we fundamentally have two completely separate goods.
Meanwhile, Crypto Daddy is willing to trade half a donkey for a Lambo. But we all know the Lambo's true owner would never cut it in half. And who would trade more than half of a Lambo for half of a donkey? That's a terrible trade. You want to get 2 donkeys for a Lambo. 2 is more than 1. Everyone knows that. John Doe has it spot on, Rad Vladdy says. Lightning Network is Bitcoin. Big says he's a hot dog hodler here. Maybe it's a foot long. Oh, we could go down that path forever. Eric says he'd be rich if it wasn't for money. And Google user says he didn't come from a monkey. So there's that. Maybe it was kind of like a monkey. Maybe it was just similar. But the hot dog is getting hot. It's burning. Take a glove. Oh, the hot dog metaphors. We're going to go down that path. Rad Vladdy says, Are economics different if the total supply is the same? Are they? The total number of coins is unchanged. How about that, Max?
Well, yes, it really is fundamentally different. Because, for example, let's take gold, the classical money as an example. You have gold, the physical gold coins, the atoms, the gold atoms. This is your money base. This is your cash. By the way, that's why it's called the Bitcoin, a electronic peer-to-peer cash system, right? Because it is the money base. And this is the money. This is the readily available money. But now, if you put this into a safe, into a centralized safe, and in exchange you get the paper certificate that gives you ownership over those exact same atoms, over this exact same piece of gold. So no fractional reserve, full reserve, and you don't even have fungibility between the gold, but you do store your gold in this money storing facility. But is this gold now different from the paper? Well, yeah, it is. Yes, the paper gives you access to the gold, and it doesn't change the money supply, and it gives only you the access over your coin, but still, paper is not gold. So although you would not fundamentally change the money supply, this still does change the economics of it. So I'm saying this really is an edge case, and I'm just saying that it's interesting to talk about. I hope it is.
All right, they're getting fired up. Yoda Miner says the true money is money, which is violent coercion because you gone bananas. Rad Vladdy says, as long as the Lightning Network and on-chain are connected, Bitcoin flows like water, like a stream into a lake, into a stream. Water flowing or water in a reservoir is still water.
Oh, Red Flatty, that is a perfect comment, and something that I think JW brought up as an example in a private conversation is that Lightning Network might not be the physical gold versus the paper receipt, but rather it might be the physical gold coin or a physical gold bar, right? They are both fundamentally the same thing, gold atoms that are fungible, but they are in a different form. One is in a small gold coin that can be used for a small transaction. One is in a larger gold bar that can be used for larger transaction. So fundamentally, it is the same money. However, it is still in a different form. So might that be a better analogy? I don't know.
A.R. Forston writes with the idea of the Big Mac coin, which appears to be worth between $5 and $10. Not just the price of a Big Mac, which is probably around $2 or $3. I know this story personally. Excuse me, I'm gonna cough
again. He just muted himself just a second before he had to go. We heard the inhale, but not the exhale.
I'm trying hard here to keep it together. But yeah, I tried to get some Big Mac coin. I went down to McDonald's. I asked the guy. I was willing to buy a Big Mac with an exchange. They're supposed to give you a Big Mac. And they had already sold out of Big Mac coin. I had no chance to get a gold coin issued by McDonald's, which, as according to legend, is to provide the bearer one Big Mac in exchange for the coin, no matter the conditions of the world. In the future, the Big Mac might be made of vegetarian patties. It might be made of Soylent Green. Whatever it is, you come to the shop. If they're still in business and you give them that Big Mac coin of legend, they are to give you a Big Mac. I really wanted one. I figured I'd be set in the future. Like, I'd be hungry. And I'd be like, I still have that Big Mac coin. But I didn't get one. I didn't win. And like he's saying, they're going for on eBay more than they're worth. So what can you do? We also had a great thing on Lightning Network. Dogtown Innovation says you can pass private keys back and forth offline. Lightning Network is similar. Max, would you say Bitcoin on a private key is different than Bitcoin that's different than Bitcoin on the Lightning Network?
Well, Dogtown Innovative LLC. Oh, wait. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Great point that you bring up, and I do think that you have a nice point and a valid point here. That it doesn't really matter how the Bitcoin looks itself. It matters if you have ownership over it. So if you control the private keys in any matter, Doesn't have to be on-chain. Doesn't matter if you control the key to a off-chain solution, like a OpenDime, like Lightning, or just a paper wallet that you hand around. You still retain ownership, and it still is one Bitcoin. So this might be another argument that Lightning is not that different from Bitcoin itself, because you still have full control of the same private keys. Now, this private key just represents a already signed transaction in the Lightning Network versus a transaction that you're still going to sign in the future with the UTXO on-chain on the Bitcoin network.
And it's interesting here. Tim says that both are a huge problem. A large number of channels. Let's see, where did the comment go? A large number of channels means that users have to divide up their funds and can't do anything but tiny purchases. And a large number of hops means that everyone's money will be tied up routing everyone else's money. So it does sound like a very complicated system, the Lightning Network. They also say, oh no, the McDonald's coin, they're saying now it's only good through the year. I don't know. I had this feeling back in the 90s, somebody gave me some Disney dollars. And, I went to Disneyland and I spent them. But in the back of my head, my voice was like, Disney printed money? Oh, that's going to be worth more than it's printed. And the Disney dollars are now selling on eBay for more than their face value. I think the Big Mac coin might be the same way. But it is disappointing. It's less romantic to think that they're only offering Big Mac coin for Big Mac for a year. It's kind of like the US government that only let you trade dollars for silver or dollars for gold for a limited time only. They should have put that on the banks. For a limited time only, you can trade in this piece of paper for something real. Like Guest at Nurse saying Soylent Green, it's a 70s movie. Nah, Soylent Green is much better than Soylent Red or Soylent Yellow. It's a food substitute that you should be eating. Soylent Green is certainly not made of people. Certainly not. What do you think, Max? Can I get you a Big Mac coin? I don't know if they're good in Germany.
Well, that's the question. Is a Big Mac coin really that good of a money? Yes, you can exchange it against a Big Mac, but that only makes it possible in like one possible transaction, right? So it's only one economic transaction that you can do with this medium of exchange versus Bitcoin that you can use for literally anything. You can buy heroin for your assassin before he goes out killing people, and you all pay in Bitcoin because that's what Bitcoin is. It is money, right? So contrary to the Big Mac token or Big Mac coin, Bitcoin is actually a money versus the Bitcoin, too many bits, to the Big Mac coin is more of a gimmick, right? A token. But nevertheless, I'd like one.
What's his name? AR Forrester says he's got two. He's set. He's got two Big Mac coins. You can afford to buy a Big Mac coin and sell a Big Mac coin. And Moonshine Fuel thinks it's funny we're talking about Soylent Green and McDonald's at the same time. And I just read that book on the McDonald's called The Grinding It Out is the title of the book. The movie's called The Founder. And he did talk about all the changes they made. And it was pretty amazing to hear him describe McDonald's back in the day. It sounds like In-N-Out Burger. Quite frankly, they cut their own potatoes at the shop. They soak their own potatoes to get the starch out of them. He talks about how he made it a ritual and he made it romantic, and how he never wanted to serve frozen beef until they sold frozen beef. And just every single level, he built this McDonald's as a corporation, right? It's in many ways the world's first true corporation, with owning every part of it, controlling every part of it, having meetings and staff and all of these things, and just a corporate structure, an incredible structure that he built for that company. And it's funny, people are, they're down on McDonald's in the chat, but really I think the original McDonald's, the 15-cent hamburgers, the handmade French fries, I think you're just describing In-N-Out Burger to a T. I think it's the same thing, but we'll see if In-N-Out Burger grows and becomes like McDonald's, or if McDonald's shrinks and becomes like In-N-Out Burger. It's interesting to see about the future. But Max, you said you had another show coming up with Ansel Linder. Where can people find out more about that? Where can people follow you on Twitter? We need to pump your Twitter handle.
Well, the show is going to be here, of course, live on the World Crypto Network. That depends on your time zone. I think it's 3 p.m. Eastern. It's 9 p.m. German time. So this is going to be a late night show for me, but for you Americans out there, this is going to be well, late noon, right? So it should be prime time for you. You can find myself on Twitter at HillebrandMax, where I just tweet out random stuff that I'd like to tweet out. My website is towardsliberty.com. And if you want to support me here, go to towardsliberty.com/anarchy for my paper on anarchy in money and why competition in money is so important. So this is something that I'm writing on right now. And of course, please support the World Crypto Network. That will be fabulous. However, if you do want to support me personally, there's also a donation address available. Thomas might show that. It's not to buy any lavish things. I really just want to check out the Purism laptop, but it is really expensive. It costs like 0.256 Bitcoin or something, so almost 0.3 Bitcoin. And this is it's really annoying to spend a lot of your Bitcoin. So if you want to support me here and get some feedback on the Purism laptop, you can donate right here. We already got 0.093 Bitcoin, so that is fantastic. Thank you very much. And we need just a little bit more to get that. So with those 0.3 Bitcoin, it's going to be the new Purism laptop, together with maybe a better microphone, so that you can see me with a good quality laptop and hear me with a nice and smooth microphone. Thank you very much.
All right, Max. So tell the people, what is Purism again? It's a special laptop, and that you'll do a review on it. I think people will donate if you tell them what it is. I know what it is, but tell them.
Oh, Purism is one of those companies that really got my heart. It's a open source, crowd-funded, and decentralized organization that are going to build a laptop that is 100% open source. So not only is it going to run Linux, and I think especially the Pure OS operating system and all the software on the laptop itself is going to be open source, or is open source, which means that you, the user, have full control over it. But not just the software, also the hardware is completely open source. So if you would be declined to do so, you can actually go out there and check each and every wire that is in the laptop. Each and every chip is open source. Apparently, it's a really high quality laptop. But the features that I personally really enjoy are the privacy features. So there is, for example, a physical button that can turn off air gap, physically cut the wires to your camera and to your microphone, so nobody is watching and listening to you, but also to your Wi-Fi, to your Bluetooth, and to all the other frequencies, so you know for a fact that you're offline right now. And this is just something that I really want to support. This is a great company, and as far as I know, they do accept Bitcoin for payments. If not, I'm not going to buy it. So this is something that they would have to do, accept Bitcoin, but I'm sure that they do. And yeah, this just is one of those fantastic companies that I would like to support. And if you want to support me,
even with the price of Bitcoin down right now, you're saying this QR code still works. People could still donate you money, and you could still use that money to buy this laptop that's open sourced and air gapped. And one of the ideas there would be no Trojan horses or back doors in this laptop. A lot of people conspiratorially believe that Windows and Mac and even Linux and all these other things, they all have back doors. But this would be the pure laptop where all of the hardware can be trusted, right? It's about trusted hardware. And the current hardware, maybe we can trust it to run for a while, but we don't really know what's going on inside the box. So if people got out their Bitcoin wallets right now and donated, Tallycoin will update automatically. The QR code will load. And if people donate 0.3 Bitcoin, Max will buy this laptop and review it on the air. And we'll all get to see if Purism is so great. I know a friend of mine, she bought one of these laptops, and I never heard from her again. So maybe she wasn't able to video chat on Purism, or maybe she wasn't able to get the drivers working. I don't know what happened. But so far, we've received 92 cents towards our goal to get a cool Purism laptop for Max to try out. We'll see if people can connect. But Max is having trouble with his internet connection, and we're heading towards the end of this show. Oh yeah, we did have one more update. This is like it's like bookends, right? It's bookends. That troll guy came back, and guess what he's got? He's got a troll comment. So what you do is you have a spreadsheet full of troll comments, and you go around from place to place, and you copy and paste from the spreadsheet. So today's copy and paste says, I don't think Bitcoin needs a marketing department with AXA, MasterCard, and all these banking cartels that own Blockstream. And again, he just has no evidence for any of that. No one's ever provided any evidence. Yes, AXA, a very large insurance company that invests in lots of things, invested in Blockstream. Shocking. So we're going to end the show on that. And thanks so much. He also says, make Germany great again. I don't know what that means. Maybe it's some kind of troll. But thanks so much, troll. We could tell it was your first time. I'm sure you'll do better next time. Thanks to everybody who called in. We had a bit too many calls at the end. We need to make sure that everybody's ready when you call. You need to have your microphone, your camera, all your stuff ready, quiet room, headphones. But we'll give it a try again tomorrow from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. right here on the West Coast, but not really. And stay tuned to the World Crypto Network. We've got Max and Ansel Linder coming up in not too long right here. Be sure to subscribe down below. Give us a thumbs up and a share. And until next time, bye-bye.